Today we will talk about SHX, XRP, XLM, and how they all connect into relaying payment rails to make them more cost effective and quicker, which is important because XRP, XLM, and SHX are all connected back to the same technology and the same highly connected individuals. And I will have Tammy Camp explain how significant this actually is for SHX, which then carries over into XRP and XLM.
Worked in fintech don't really know how payment rails works. How they work is very opaque to the user that might send an ACH transfer, even wire transfer. Explain what a payment network is for those that don't understand in terms of what you mean by a legacy payment rail and how they operate.
We can talk about ACH and Nacha. It was pre-internet. Today, it's the fastest growing rail within the United States, and it was created for the military so they could process payroll for the military in California. Then it was rolled out across different branches of the military across different states. ACH is actually connected to the Federal Reserve. The type of payments we do, we work with a bank. The bank has access to the Federal Reserve accounts. The bank move funds with a technology provider underneath the bank. They move the funds from point A, say your work, to point B, which is usually the employee.
And that is important because SHX is directly connected into ACH payments, which is probably their most public concentration and is now worth about 80 trillion annually. But there is also a very large connection into FedNow, and that is the exact same thing for XRP. And as we know, SHX and XLM are highly interconnected with IBM WorldWire, and that can be compared to the currently existing FedWire program that processed 991 trillion in 2021. In 2021, Nacha reported that the ACH network handled more than 29 billion transactions worth about 73 trillion, which made 2021 the 9th consecutive year ACH transaction value expanded by at least 1 trillion. FedWire, which handles the majority of wire transfers within the US, moved just over 991 trillion in 2021, up 18% on 2020. When live, FedNow, with its broad footprint and its competitive pricing, it could take a huge chunk out of transaction volume for both ACH and wire transfers, which is important because FedNow will not be allowed to fail. It will become an essential federal service, providing institutions real-time payments. Even in a crisis, it will be available. And that is because we are talking about trillions being transacted every day. If we assume that as of right now in 2024, that expansion of 991 trillion has continued, then we are talking about value of over 1 quadrillion. They have to have that working, otherwise everything comes crashing down. And it's interesting because this goes back into IBM WorldWire, which runs on, I can't say STs, I'll just call that the XLM protocol. And it's a hot topic right now in the SHX corner of crypto Twitter or crypto X, because there isn't much talk out there about IBM WorldWire being active at this point in time. There is some content out there that would indicate that in 2019 it was turned off. But I think that the most important part is on this shot right here. And this IBM WorldWire page on the IBM site was updated in March of 2022. And you have Ripple and XRP being involved in FedNow, and SHX preparing for FedNow as well, which is from September of 2023. In an ad put out by Stronghold, it has a coin being put into a bank that has Ripple logo on it. So could this be hinting at the fact that Stronghold Net actually ties into the XRPL and the ILE? Here I want to talk about the connections that Stronghold in particular has into the ACH payments space, which has become a lot more interesting over the last couple of weeks as a new event has popped up that has pretty cryptic information that points at what Stronghold is actually involved in. And I have a hypothesis on that, which I will pair as well. Stronghold is a gold sponsor at Notch's Smarter, Faster Payments 2024 event this year, alongside JPM, Wells Fargo, Visa, Bank of America, and more. Sean is also speaking. Here is a shot from the event site, and it calls out Stronghold here. And why would any company pay for that if they weren't already significantly tied into the faster payments infrastructure? Here is the presentation Sean will be talking about, and it will be based on a newly published case study that features an omni-channel retailer with both a physical store and an e-commerce delivery experience. Speakers will discuss how new technology is driving innovation, resulting in a retailer increasing ACH payment adoption by 34% in just 28 days. Stronghold is a FedNow participant. As per the Federal Reserve, FedNow participants may process instant payments effective April 22nd, 2024. And in their white paper presentation, it does call out FedNow here and how they were preparing. I also think it's interesting how SHX is talking about having a new governance vote, and that process will begin on April 1st of 2024. And now we're talking about Ripple's connection into FedNow. So you've got an array of partnerships, including companies like Volante and Finastra, who have been chosen by the Federal Reserve to put this plan into action. And you've got Finastra called out here, and I think Volante is on here somewhere, but I can't find it immediately. But it does call out FedNow as well. Oh, it is right there. I'm just blind. So now we come back to SHX, XLM, and IBM WorldWire. So we've got Kay Thingol weighing in here, and he says that Stronghold was instrumental in WorldWire in between 2019 and 2021, but not actively right now. Sean confirmed last year that they are a vendor offering technology services to IBM, which makes me wonder just what they are involved with. And IBM is on Stronghold's front page still. But it's important to remember that WorldWire is only one project, and it seems clear that IBM trusts Stronghold in their own words, and I would be inclined to suggest that Stronghold's work on WorldWire solidified their relationship further, hence why they are retained as a vendor in his opinion. Here is a look at that one page out of white paper that has not attracted a lot of attention until recently. So it talks about expansion of product features for sophisticated and institutional customers, which includes overhauling our support for open and closed loop solutions and has customizations available for specific customer needs, which is important because open loop is generally broader and openly available across numerous other financial institutions, whereas closed loop issues transactions via a single payment provider. Either way, they have come out and said that they are expanding and overhauling each of those, and particularly around sophisticated and institutional clients. The thing I want to know is who. However, my gut tells me we all probably have a good idea who it might be. And I have a hunch that it involves ACH payments, which would include all 12 Federal Reserve banks, IBM, and huge traditional institutions. And just to top it all off, you've got Visa is ready for FedNow, and they have a lot of involvement in XRP, XLM, and in SHX as well. The comment I made about April is beginning to look more and more interesting, and it has a lot to do with Soroban contracts. Imagine contracts with 10 times higher cost and efficiency compared to an EVM. And it's not a sidechain. It is on the XLM protocol itself and runs on the most popular programming language at this time. And here we have SHX called out as a wrapped Soroban asset. XLM has already collaborated with industry-leading financial institutions for several years to bring real-world assets on-chain, and just recently Protocol 20 to bring Soroban contract functionality to XLM. Contracts have now been updated to phase 2, which has expanded capabilities. And the official line was that they had to fully implement the SHX burning. And recently, there was a huge amount of SHX burned in only 24 hours. Companies like SHX do not test things. If they announce a test, it's because they know it already works and it is being applied. Two things to look out for in March are the next government vote, which has gotten announced, Soroban update, and a possible listing on Uphold as well. Here we had 507,000 SHX burned in just 24 hours. And about 24 hours after that, it didn't have any burned at all. So in my mind, that would show that they have either been testing a very high volume system, or they are able to turn it on and off, or it's a combination of both. Which also takes me to the price action of SHX. And it does have a lot of trading bot action at this time. Crypto banker SHX talked to a couple of extremely qualified TA and chart experts who each came to the conclusion that the chart only began to behave oddly after it began to attract a lot of attention after its last spike, which is the exact same thing with Velo at the moment. And it's odd because there are no futures on SHX or Velo. It's not market makers trading and manipulating. It's just pure suppression when the chart appears as if it's about to break out because interest is at an all-time high. Just because each of them are small market caps at this point, it is not hard to keep them under a certain price. And here from Captain X, he has the same kind of March and April ideas as I have. So You have Toraband Finance went live on the mainnet and can be used as an AMM. The XRPL AMM should go live on March 22nd at this point, and you have ISO 202 going live in Europe on March 17th, which would have it appear as if March and April could have a lot of positive changes. And that whole March and April timeline seems to line up pretty well with the connections in between SHX and IBM on this chart that I've explained in the past. When the price of IBM went up, so did SHX. And since that point in time, each of them have been trending down. However, it does look as if IBM and SHX have each tried to turn up a little bit over the last week or so.